We have an unusually strong economy in terms of employment and production, but our hot economy actually overheated through the pandemic, driving up the rate of inflation. And that's what a lot of people are still feeling when they say the economy is not working for them.
The voters who are really up for grabs are those who have felt the pinch of inflation and the economy.
Well, to address that, Vice President Harris proposed a federal ban on price gouging groceries and food without specific details. And former President Trump said he'd lower interest rates without specific details. Presidents do not control interest rates. And they have a lot of other ideas here and some things that they agree on.
We are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
And eliminate taxes on tips for service and hospitality workers.
Oh, both propose ending the federal tax that workers pay on tips they earn, but neither has said whether to exempt tips only from income taxes, only from payroll taxes, or both. Harris has called for an income limit on who gets the break. Meanwhile, both tickets favor expanding the child tax credit. Harris wants to increase the child tax credit from $2,000 per child to up to $3,600, which is how it was in 2021. She also wants to add a $6,000 tax credit for infants. Trump's running mate, Senator J.D. Vance, suggested raising the child tax credit to $5,000. Harris wants to limit the expanded credits to middle and lower income families. Trump and Vance do not. Both Harris and Trump also want to expand tax cuts and extend tax cuts that are set to expire next year, but they differ on what they'd cut and which tax cuts they'd keep, as do voters.
About 4 in 10 say Donald Trump would be better on the economy, and about 4 in 10 say Kamala Harris would be better on the economy.
Harris proposes expanding tax credits to cover health care premiums for some, plus a $25,000 tax credit for first-time home buyers and new tax credits to encourage developers to build more affordable homes. She calls for increasing tax deductions for startup businesses from $5,000 to $50,000 and extending the 2017 tax cuts that Trump signed for Americans who earn less than $400,000 a year, and then raising taxes on those who make more than $400,000 a year.
I come from the middle class, and I will never forget where I come from.
To help pay for the tax cuts, Harris would also raise the capital gains rate from 20 to 28% for people who earn more than $1 million, and increase the corporate tax rate from 21% to 28%, and increase taxes on individuals who have $100 million or more in net worth.
We will tax capital gains at a rate that rewards investment in America's innovators, founders, and small businesses.
Trump wants to make all of the taxes he cut in 2017 permanent and reduce some corporate tax rates from 21% to 15%.
We're going to lower taxes still further for companies that are going to make their product in the USA.
He proposes new tax deductions for infants, and he calls for ending the tax on overtime pay and ending the tax on Social Security payments. He wants to help pay for all of these tax cuts by raising tariffs.
Your taxes are going to fall. You saw that. Your net worth will skyrocket. America will be confident again.
An analysis by the Nonpartisan Committee for Responsible Budget shows both Harris's and Trump's plans would increase our national debt. By 2035, it shows Harris's plans would increase our debt by $3.5 trillion, while Trump's plan would increase the debt by $7.5 trillion. Now, one of the biggest distinctions between Harris and Trump on economic and trade policy relates to tariffs. A tariff is a tax that American businesses pay on products they import from other nations. And this can encourage domestic production and reduce foreign competition for companies that make all of their components in the U.S. and then buy equipment and machinery to make those components produced solely in the United States. But it can also hurt business for companies that export products because When our government raises tariffs on products coming into our country, well, other nations tend to retaliate by raising their tariffs on U.S.-made products coming into their countries. And this can also hurt American consumers because American companies that pay higher tariffs tend to pass down at least some of their costs by raising prices.
But there's a downside, right? You're raising cost. Those cars, for instance, are now more expensive. The American consumer pays that cost. Or if businesses are buying those products, those businesses are facing higher costs in the U.S.
When Trump was president, he raised tariffs on nearly $380 billion worth of products, which the Nonpartisan Tax Foundation equated to nearly $80 billion in additional costs to American consumers. The Biden-Harris administration then kept a majority of the Trump tariffs in place and then expanded tariffs on some products from China, which cost American consumers an additional $3.6 billion, again, according to the Tax Foundation.
My plan also invests in American manufacturing and innovation because I will make sure America, not China, wins the competition for the 21st century.
The big difference between Trump and Harris is that Trump proposes much steeper tariffs now. Trump proposed a new 60% tariff on goods from China, suggested a 100% tariff on Mexican products, a 200% tariff on John Deere machinery, and up to 10 to 20% on most other imports.
We're going to put tariffs on them, and they're going to do, and you know what they can do? The Mercedes-Benz will start building in the United States.
In a Wall Street Journal survey, most economists said they think that inflation, interest rates, and deficits would be higher under Trump's plans than Harris's plans. Trump has responded by dismissing economists' projections, noting that they have been wrong in the past. And we're about to see which plans voters prefer as they choose America's path of money, power, and politics.